your chair. Come on with me. You're gonna do chair exercises. Save your feet and toes. Get your weights. We're gonna do some weight stuff. I said, come on with me. Chair if you're doing chair exercises. Save your feet and toes. Line up if you're walking wall to wall. Cause if I start walking now, jump on your right. They cut me up until I'm just. Let's start this treadmill, y'all. Ooh, I'm cold. Come on with me. I'm cold, but give me 5 minutes. Keep my ears in, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. Yes. Here I is. Here is me. Hey, hold on. Take this off. Put it over here. Child, put it over there. Whew. All right, I'm cold. Oh, here we are, y'all. Thanks for coming on the walk. Like, comment, share, tell uncle, tell auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe, y'all. Subscribe, subscribe. Yes, indeed. Ooh, I tell you, vibrations have been high. I know y'all probably don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all cult endowed. Cult endowed. That you don't see anything with vibration and energy and all that stuff. Though it's all around you. But anyway, everybody is everybody. Well, I meant to say powdered. Even though I looked at the last one, I said, oh, powered. Well, yeah, the Tudors were powered, but they were also powdered. As in powdered makeup. The white powdered makeup. Yes, y'all. And we know what we use that for. Oh, yeah. So, that's what I meant to put in the powdered makeup. You know? I guess I can walk without holding on. But sometimes I lose concentration. I lose focus. Especially if I start vibing high. Whew. Anyway. So, that's what I meant by powder. Now, I don't know if y'all know the movie Imitation of Life. I was in my 20s. Here in New York, they used to have a movie channel where you looked at your movies. And they put on the old movies. So this Imitation of Life comes on. And I'm like, okay. So it starts off there at the beach. They're on the beach. Lana Turner and her daughter, blonde hair. We'll get into that. And the actress is Hattie. I can't think of her last name. She comes over and she has a daughter. Somehow they start talking. And Hattie tells her she needs a place to live. And Lana Turner something. And they wind up moving in together. And I guess I should preface that Hattie is the African-American woman, African-American actress. I don't know what her character is in the movie, but she's a very famous African-American actress. And of that time, of that period. And she has a daughter that doesn't look anything like her daughter. They used Natalie Wood in it when I first saw it. There's another one with the pancake and something else, older one. But this one I saw, I think it was the 50s. And using Natalie Wood, whose African blood is down to a gene, is what they use. And of course, Hattie is very dark, deep dark, chocolate complexion. And they live with Lana Turner, who some kind of successful actress, and as she becomes more and more successful, and Lana Turner has a daughter, that's what Hattie was there, hired as a housekeeper and stuff. Hattie's daughter was getting jealous because she knew that it wasn't going to happen for her. Her mother, we might as well say, was an African, but had a child from a cousin whose African connection is down to a gene. So, as they get older, Hattie's daughter goes to school, and they think she's white. And she is. She's played by Natalie Wood, but technically, she would be Adam Clayton Powell complexion. Who else could I say? Before she got old, what is her name? Kit something. She played the Catwoman in Batman. But she was old by then and she had started darkening. Leslie Uggams when she was young. But as she got older, she started becoming darker. And they just said they thought she was white. And it's when her mother came around that they knew, oh, you're black. And they would treat her different. So Hattie's daughter reasoned, I'm white if I don't have my mother. If my mother is around and she says, I'm her mother, then everyone knows she's black. So she started hating her mother because she was white until her mother showed up. And they did something like a party, and she was like, no, this is the housekeeper that came with something, and she's talking to her mother. And then as she got older, she started ignoring her mother. Because to be attached to her mother would mean she was African. And she didn't want that. She wanted to be known as white. So Hattie goes to see her, oh baby, darling, I love you, baby. And she's like, no. This is not in play, but this is what they should have put the words in. I'm black if I'm around you. And they hate me. But if I'm not around you, I'm white and I'm like them and Anyway, you know who wrote the movie? Them German Ethiopians like they love to drag the African. They don't like the African in them, the Ethiopian. That side they try to ignore. They keep the coat and they ignore the African part of the Ethiopian. Anyway, they had, she crying. So the mother dies and they try to find her. And she comes back in time and she's crying. Now, I was crying from the start, from seeing Hattie with that little mixed race kid. I was crying right away because I knew that was a setup. I knew it was a setup. And it didn't fail me. It was the better to be white than black movie. Honey, better to be white than black. And them German Ethiopians kicked that out all the time. Anyway, I cried. And then years go by, and I'm with Zelene and Norma. And it's like, do y'all feel like crying? Do y'all want to look at a movie and make you cry? So, yeah, so I put on Imitation of Life. And we cried our eyeballs out. And what I couldn't understand was, I understand it now. But listen, I'm 66 now. So this is all these years I've been questioning y'all. Okay? I didn't just want to say, oh, wonder why it's like that. I've been looking for the answer since I came out the womb. I told you my aunt said I cried for the first 5 years. My mother said I cried a lot. I know now, did not want to come back here to this same bullshit. Well, we going to Africa. We ain't coming back here. No, my remains, y'all know I'm talking. That's why we're going to have the walk at 7 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. tomorrow. Because I have to go see my mortician, honey. Find out how much it costs to send these old remains to Ghana. That's my going home. And any African think going home is that made mixed race stuff. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. The African is the most mixed race human being on the planet. They went everywhere and they mixed. And they mixed with every civilization. The pyramids ain't in South America for nothing. Okay? Stop playing, y'all. And a lot more places that they done tore down because it relates too strongly to Africa and the African presence around the world. Getting back to the powdered Tudors. So I told y'all about Imitation of Life. So, I'm vibing with the ancestors. And the ancestors are saying, look at your own situation. Because I'm asking, sometimes it really gets to be too much with this bullshit. I'm like, I follow the hate. That's what I say, follow the hate. In my family, I told y'all before, we don't have the same fathers. My older sister is mixed race. Like I said, she could have been Hattie's daughter in Imitation of Life, and my mother could have been Hattie, except my mother was way skinnier. And at times, I feel my older sister hated the blackness that she had, which is very strange because she married a man, my father's complexion, who she hates my father's complexion. She hates the black people. So when I saw my brother-in-law, I was so happy. I was so happy. First I was shocked. I was like, ooh. He looked like the complexion of my daddy. But she hates the complexion of my daddy. So I was shocked when I met my brother-in-law. Because my sister don't like black people. From the time I knew her, she called me Black Sambo. Tar Baby. Tar Baby. Oh, turn off the lights. You can't see Vicki, you can see her eyes. Tripped me, kicked me. She did not really like me. It wasn't till my mother passed that she half way embraced me. And I fell for an okie doke. I'm saying it like that because that's my connection. Uh-oh, we gotta take a water break. When I look at these Europeans that's running around here with the African gene, the African cult, but hate the African. African gene in their blood, African cult, African God that they pray to, and the Africans that they hate and treat like crap. But I know now why. I'll tell y'all when we come back from the break. Yes, remember, tomorrow, 7 p.m., y'all. 7 p.m. in the evening is going to be our walk. I'm going to go see my mortician. Yeah. Never thought I'd be so excited to see a mortician. It's like, let me take care of these last steps. These last steps. And on these last steps, I'm going home. I'm going to Ghana. I married Ghana. I married a man from Ghana and I married Ghana. And I'm going home. No. 5 years of crying? Whew. And I know why. Whew. Now I know y'all say, oh, Vicki, that was old childhood stuff with you and your sisters. I thought so too. I thought so too. When we got back at 20, by then she was married to a man darker than me, so she couldn't call me Black Sambo, Tar Baby, eyes in the dark. But she could be cruel. And she was. And that somehow the husband didn't remind her of the African in her. But me, I reminded her of the African that's in her. Couldn't stand me. It was, she helped us get a job at a telephone company, but as my aunt said, she asked her to do it again and again because she wouldn't do it for me. Though she knew I was a telephone operator, she wouldn't do it. I'm trying to tell you, but I couldn't understand. What did I, how? So then let's come on this penal colony. I was like I said, stop calling it racist, because it's not. All Europeans carry African gene. Just don't want to tell the truth. Ha, ha, ha! So it's not that. But somehow when it's like you want to be something else. And you are. As long as you aren't around the people that you're trying to be something else from. Okay, let me do this a different way. I had a family, very close friend of mine, very close. They got put out of their place. I went over, I scooped them up, It was a whole family. They was crying. But more, they were embarrassed. And I tried to soothe them. It only took us like 2 days before we were able to get them an apartment. They knew how to pull the strings. And I'm not one to really be reckoned with back in them days. So, I saw them at their lowest, with only the clothes on their back, little money in their pocket, they had a car. But I saw them at their lowest. So they get the apartment, and they get better. But my friends, they were all my friends, the parents. The wife wrote me the horrible letter. I didn't read it. I think like the first page, it was like, I didn't make you homeless. I came and scooped you up and put you in a home, my home. Why are you mad at me? Okay? So then they straight, and they don't call back. They don't ask how I'm doing. They don't come to see me. Because now, they're not the homeless people that they were. They got an apartment, they got a new car. The only thing that reminds them that they were homeless was me. No one else knew. I went and scooped them up. Maybe a few neighbors. But other than that, nobody. I said, hey, come on over here. Bring everything. So every time they saw me, though they highfalutin now, walking on the wild side, but when they see me, I remind them that they were homeless. And I help them through their homelessness. They don't like that. They don't like that. I have helped many people. And many people have helped me. I'm like, yeah, ooh, I can't wait to see you, because, see, that's a hump I got over. See, when me and Dave moved in with my girlfriend, Annie Pearl, no one. Grateful, child. Grateful. I couldn't give her enough. Yeah. And every time I see her, I hug her. And when I talk to her on the phone, we laugh. And when I hang up, I say, I love you, Annie Pearl. She doesn't, I'm not shying away from her, because she took me in at a low point of my life. Basically, me and Dave was getting up out of New York. I was like, get rid of this apartment. But I love to see her. When I see her, that reminds me of me moving on up. And how she was the step that helped me move up. I did the same thing for my sister and my niece and my nephew. When she went to rehab, I moved in. I took care of her kids. Every time she's reinvented herself, she's a big time nurse, she's this, she's a homeowner, she's a landowner, everything. I haven't seen her in over 20 years. I remind her of when she was in rehab. Don't want to see me. Don't want to see that memory. I'm not a person. Well, I've never really been a person to her. But anyway, I'm not a person. I'm a memory of a bad time in her life. Not the person who helped her through the bad time in her life. No, not that. Never that. But I'm the memory of the bad time in their lives. So that hate is a different hate. And it lasts a long, 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 long time. It can go generations. Generations. And generations and generations, and you don't know. Where does this hate come from? That's the way it is with our European cousins. Every time they see us, they're remembered, they're reminded of that African gene running around in them that they can't see, or the African genes running around in them that is clearly to be seen. So that's why this hate is so long. That's why this hate is so long. That's why this oppression on this penal colony is so long. Because the hate of these Europeans and these crowns come from a deeper part. It comes from Hattie's daughter. Remember? Imitation of Life? She was white. And every time she saw her mother, who was African, she hated it because that was what was inside her. But no one else could see it. Everybody else saw was the white. And that's the same here with us. Because when I was small, everything was like about white skin, powder, blonde hair, blue veins, all that stuff. And I was like, look, why y'all trying so hard to say you ain't African? Stop it. Because you're trying so hard to say you're not African, you're hating us, and you're hurting us. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. So that's why we're zoned to different areas, why we get subpar this, subpar that, subpar this. That's why we're put in areas. They also labeled us born in blood inmate criminals so we can stay part of the penal system. Again, get them out of our eyesight. You're not living in their neighborhoods. Not only because of the label born in blood inmate criminal, but because when they see you African, that gene that's inside of them, that European porcelain skin, that African gene, instantly reaches out. And they say, no, I'm not African. No, I'm not African. And as long as I don't have to see Africans, then I don't have to acknowledge that that gene is running all through my European blue blood veins. And I want to tell you, I want to test you. I don't know if they still take you to the museums to see all this European royal shit, but I had to. My daughter said, Mommy, you should see what them Canadians is doing to the Panamanians. And I'm like, what? So instantly I'm like, well, that's a Spain. That's the Spanish cousins penal colony. What is Canada doing over there? So of course, Google it. Back in the day, I'd have to take down the encyclopedia, run to the library, and go, Google. And they made some kind of agreement or some kind of pact with Panama. Canada did. Because I was like, Canada doesn't have Canada doesn't have a penal colony. French Canada has a penal colony, but it didn't say the French Canadian. Okay, here we go. Because there's no Spanish Canadian thing over there. Anyway, so I'm like, what are they doing over there in Panama? They made some kind of deal that they could just suck everything out of Panama. Like Panama made deals, they suck this penal colony suck everything out of them. You know, as it goes, like all the penal colonies. Anyway, I said, no, I know Panama was, you know, founded by, you know, Spain. So I go in there, and I'm like, who is that? And as soon as I asked, I said, who colonized Panama? And this pasty face King Ferdinand, who looked like Colin Powell, is that his name? Yeah, might as well say about the complexion of, Kirkpatrick? Who's that guy who bent the knee at the football game? His complexion. That's why they use the powdered. Because you can see. And then as the royalty got older, when you're light, as you get older, you become darker. They call them liver spots. Okay, fine, sure, all right. The African comes out. So you see so I saw this picture of Ferdinand, and I was like, brother, I can see the African all in you. And then I go and I look at other pictures, and guess what? He got a powdered face. Because the artist was using what they saw, the complexion of what they saw. And what the royalty saw when they looked at those pictures was the African in them. And they said, no, powdered faces. So I guess I'm saying all this to say, African Americans, please love yourself. Don't go by any standards of what these people said. I was raised with them German Ethiopians telling me we was monkeys and all kind of stuff. I can't even tell you. Our tongue too thick to that. But we know from them why they do that, because when they see us, they're reminded of the Ethiopian in them. They took the culture, the Hebrew out. They separated it. Oh, there's Hebrew, there's Ethiopian. No. You're African. Anyway, that's where the hate comes from. When they see us saying, we black and our proud, and they're like, no, we squashing the African in us. We done got it down. We done birthed it out to one little random gene. We ain't gonna let them Africans excite our little gene that's inside of us. And they become cruel. They become cruel because they're trying. What they're doing to us is everything they're doing to that one little African gene running around them. And like I said, some got way more. Yeah. Y'all can do all y'all want you to those noses, honey. Y'all can do all y'all want you to those noses. It ain't gonna change nothing. The gene is there. But at least now I know, and I just beg African American people, stop. My mother used to cry. Stop saying, oh, I don't want to be black, and this, and that whole doll thing, white thing, black. What you should say is, the same thing that the black doll got, the white doll got in her too. Let's go. Squeeze your gut. Bring your elbow. Neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm coming up too high. And 1 for good luck. What I'm trying to say, put out on the ethers clearly, is that The African and the Europeans, they don't want to acknowledge, because they would have to acknowledge that the Africans came out of Africa and into Europe and ruled. And they don't want that. And how we wound up in this situation? Because of that reason. The Africans started mixing with the Europeans. They started moving the Europeans up into places, and the Africans in lower places, and the mixed race in higher places, and the darks in Africa in lower places, and then war, and then fight, and bam, bam, boom, bam, boom. We're on this penal colony. But the hate is different. That's why I said don't call it racism. Because we all Europeans have African gene within them. And that's what they hate. And when they see us, they're reminded of that African gene within them, and they turn it outwards towards us. That's what I'm trying to say. Yay! Squeeze your gut, tuck in your elbow, neither up nor down. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 for good luck. And on the sad part of this is the reason why we will continuously let them treat us so horribly, horribly, and never lift a hand to them. It is also why they treat us horribly, horribly, and we go and fight wars to defend them. Because we know they have that African gene. And we don't mind, we don't hate like that. We know we came into Africa. I mean, there's so many cultures that have the African gene, and they know it and accept it. With these ones, these Europeans, they hate the African gene inside them. And as long as they don't acknowledge that African gene within, they're always going to hate the dark-skinned Africans. But what I need us to do is to say, yes, we know they share our African gene. But like they don't give a damn about us, like they have that African gene and they come after us to squash and destroy it, I say to us, ignore that African gene within them. Look at them as pure strangers, invaders, conquerors, oppressors, and act accordingly. Ain't never been no punk bitches. Always been warriors. Love yourself. Like, comment, share. Tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Yes. When they treat you like crap, treat them like crap. That's what I'm saying. But don't worry about me. I'll be ready to go to Ghana. No, I ain't never coming back. As soon as I see my mortician, I just know I'm going to be so happy when I come back. I'm going to have the paper saying, whoo, when my matter and energy separate, whoo, I'm going to be on the first thing smoking to Ghana, getting off this penal colony. Like, comment, share, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. I'm sorry I have so many bad camera angles, good camera angles. I don't know. I'm not a camera person. Like, comment, share, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell a cousin, tell a friend. Subscribe. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.